Alhamdulillah wassalatu wassalam ala Rasulillah. Mu'adh ibn Jabal radiyallahu anhu reported that the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alayhi wasallam held my hand and said, O Mu'adh, by Allah, I love you and advise you not to miss supplicating after every salah, saying, Allahumma a'inni ala dhikrika wa shukrika wa husni ibadatik. O Allah, help me remember you, expressing gratitude to you, and worship you in the best manner. Abi Dawood and An-Nisa'i. We learn from this hadith the following. It is commendable to inform those whom one loves for Allah's sake of this love. Number 2, the superiority of Mu'adh. It is commendable to say this dua after every obligatory salah. It is commendable to seek Allah's help in order to discharge one's duty toward Allah in the best possible manner. Walhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen.
Bismillah, walhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalamu ala Rasulillah. We start inshallah with from the right side and ask the first person on the right side, which Brother Habib, give me one thing you understood from this hadith.
That if one loved his Muslim brother, he should express it to him.
Jazakallah khair. First thing we learn from the hadith, that when you love your Muslim brother for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you should inform him. Brother Muhammad.
That basically you should love your Muslim brother, want for the Muslim brother what you want for yourself.
Love for your Muslim brother what you love for yourself. How did you understand this from the hadith?
That whatever that you learn, that you want good for yourself, that you want for your Muslim brother also.
Okay. Did you understand this from this hadith?
Yes.
Yes? Okay. Where is the point in that hadith that you derive this understanding?
Basically, from love from your Muslim brother.
Okay. Next person, Anwar. Do you understand what Muhammad said from this hadith or in general teaching of Islam?
Both, I think, because the fact that Rasulullah took the time to advise him, so he loved him, and as a way of loving him, he advised him in the best of ways, and one of that was that what he said about after the salah, the obligatory salah.
Okay. Thank you. Brother Muhammad, what do you understand from this hadith?
The hadith, I understand that is about where the Prophet ﷺ that the one who recites this hadith, the importance of this hadith is to show the gratitude to Allah that you should have iman, faith, and love for your brother as well. That's what I understand. Not just only that you love for what you love for your brother, what you love for yourself, and you hate for also for what you hate for yourself for your brother.
Thank you. Brother Abu Bakr, are you awake? Did you hear anything from the hadith?
I don't understand. I told brother just the other day I love him for the sake of Allah, and he told me I didn't.
Okay. Stop. All right. When somebody said to you, I love you for the sake of Allah, okay, you say to him, may Allah love you as you love me for his sake. We don't know what's in our hearts or other people. We don't know what's other people's hearts. These things only Allah can know it. And even if the person faking it, that we should respond to the good in a good or an excellent way. And I'm sure the brother was joking with you, but we shouldn't be joking with things like this. Brother Muhammad.
I think we understand from the hadith that we should always ask Allah to help us to best perform His how to thank Allah, how to call for Allah, and how to help, how to let us Allah make His prayer and His ibadat is the best fashion of this.
Always turn to Allah and ask Allah's assistance, and especially about to enable us to worship Him in the best manner. Brother Fairoz.
I understood 2 points from this hadith. One is, if you love your Muslim brother, you must express him that I love you for the sake of Allah. And another one is, after every obligatory prayer, you have to ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
You should be saying this dua after every obligatory prayer. Alhamdulillah, you have something to add?
And then to remember that we should always love our Muslim brother.
Alhamdulillah. Jazakallah khair, Brother Bilal.
I really didn't catch too much. I'm still sleepy.
Okay.
I just heard.
Good morning.
Good morning
to you.
I
Abu Abdullah.
The remembrance of Allah.
Okay.
That was the quote.
Remembrance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Ask Allah to assist you, to help you to remember Him. Allahumma anni ala dhikrika. Remembering Allah. Abu Abdullah.
Now, of course, the special love that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam had for this very special companion,
which is Mu'adh.
Mu'adh bin Jabal, and who has a tremendous history in our deen. And also, as our brother expressed, that we ask Allah for assistance in our worship, because our Iman, it increases and decreases, and so many things distract us during the day, and so many affairs of our life distract us. So we need Allah's help, to help us remember Him more and to worship better. So we ask Allah for His assistance.
We need Allah's help even in His ibadah. Okay? And the most important thing, the special thing that the Prophet gave to Mu'adh, is to direct him towards something to bring him closer to Allah. Okay? Brother Abqab.
Akida, for the small part that I caught after my swims, I think it was expressing that I came in on this commendable that you recite this dua.
Mm-hmm.
And in my practices of practicing du'as throughout the deen, is that Allah continues to inform us of what we should do to enjoin our hearts. Our hearts to be remembered about where we are closeness in saying things from our tongue, but also enjoining our hearts and making an action in our life.
Alhamdulillah. Jazakallah khair. Brother Khalis.
I heard the key word that impressed me was to always make the dua. Invocation was the word to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Expressing your love for your brothers and the ummah.
Alhamdulillah. Jazakallah khair. Okay, we're going to stop here, inshallah. Why I approach you this morning with this kind of methodology. A teacher is like a farmer. You spread the seeds on the ground, and some of these seeds goes deep on the ground, and some they doesn't. Okay? So the information assemble and reach and stretch and go, starting with Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam being given the information. Start after this with one person, two people, three people, but splitting and splashing and flourishing out of everything. You put one seed, as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, the likeness of those who spend their money or their wealth in the cause of Allah كمثل حبة أنبتت 7 سنابل في كل سنبلة 100 حبة. Likeness of those who spend their money in the cause of Allah like one seed, like a corn, okay, or a weed or something like this. You put it in the ground, but out of one single seed, okay, it comes a tree with 7 cones. So now the one turned to what? To 7. But in each cone, okay, or in each one branch of this, 100 seeds, okay. So now you go from 1 to 7 to 100. So comes back to the first result, which is 1, and the result is what? 700. So we have to pay attention to what's been said, what you hear, because you have obligation after this. You're going to receive this seed, and this seed have to have a place in you. You have to prepare the ground for it. You have to be alert there to receive it, because after this it have to have some impact on you, and after this a part of the impact in you that is going to reach to other people. And this how simple, peaceful way this Islam had reached to people and countries and millions and billions of people. So it is very important receiving the knowledge, paying attention to the knowledge. And the first thing about what's my mind, what's my soul, what's my heart will benefit from this. Because here in this session, as example, if the Prophet ﷺ loved Mu'adh, so the best thing that he gave it to Mu'adh was not some perfume or gave him a pen, or he gave him something special. So when you love somebody, you give him the best, the selected thing that you have. What it is he gave him? Information. He taught him a dua. He gave him something he can utilize after every prayer. But this thing that he gave it to him, he has so much benefit for him in this life as well as the hereafter. And also he's teaching him the Tawheed, depending on Allah and on Allah alone, seeking the help of Allah and Allah alone. Allahumma a'inni. So for the Muslim to understand any assistance and any help that you need in this life, you have to count on Allah first, and you have to turn to Allah first before anybody else. So the ibadah of the heart comes before anything else. That because you believe in Allah, so the first one that you turn to Him is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. As for the people that you see them as an agent working for Allah, they are nothing except to carry the order of Allah. Therefore you turn to Allah, because the hearts of the people in the hands of Allah, and Allah will turn it whatever way that He wants. So you turn to Allah, asking Allah for what you want. And the most important thing the person that wants in this life, is to be assist to worship Allah, to obey Allah, to reach to the love of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. As a result of this, you have the methodology. What you want to do, zikr, shukr, ibadah. Remembrance, gratitude, worship. Okay? And since these things is available, but you need help to climb this ladder, to reach to the top of this mountain. Start with the dhikr of Allah, remembrance of Allah. When you remember Allah, and to remember Allah a lot, now you going to learn something which be grateful to Allah. Shukrillah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Be thankful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And a person have to understand he is surrounded by Allah's blessings and gifts, right and left. Is beyond what he can. But if Allah doesn't enable you to open your eyes and to open your heart, you are not going to see His blessings. You're going to be enjoying the blessings without knowing that you are living in the blessings. Okay? And you remember this man, the stories that we mentioned like a couple of weeks ago, that he was in poverty, and to such a degree he started to see it, you understand, and suffering from many things. So when he went to sleep, he saw a dream, and he's still complaining about his living, that he's living. So this man approached him and he said to him, would you like to replace your sight with a 10,000 dirham? As example, okay, you complaining about you don't have money. What about you give your eyes away and you get $10,000 as example? He said no. He said, what about your hearing? He said no. Okay, so he said, what about you understand your ability to talk? He said no. He said, here you're talking about $30,000 that you already got and you are not aware about it. Then he said to him, what about if we give you $10,000 to 10,000 dirham, and for you to forget the surah which you had memorized, okay, Surah Yasin as example? He said, no way. He said, okay, we take away from you the surah that you memorize, okay, such and such, and we'll give you $2,000. He said, no. So he saw him, the blessings that he have physically and the spiritual blessing also. You have a sight, you can see, you can hear, you can talk. And also you got surah so and so, and you have been a Muslim. All these things is not a blessings. All these things doesn't need for you to be happy. So the man, when he got up from his dream, he felt that his heart is more comfortable and more in ease, because he got to see many blessings that he have, but he was not aware about it, or he was not paying too much attention to it. So when you start with the dhikr of Allah, especially in different occasions, like somebody sneeze, what he's supposed to say, somebody leaves the masjid, what's supposed to say, somebody start to eat, what you're supposed to say, you finish eating. So you start with this kind of dhikr that have certain occasion. And after this you go to another dhikr that has no limitation, that you try to keep your tongue in the remembrance of Allah while you're driving, while you're walking, instead of be sitting saying nothing or singing. So now you turn your idle time to be occupied with the remembrance of Allah. Now you get to be more grateful and thankful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You became from the shakirin, became from those people who worship Allah by showing gratitude to what he gave them. And husn al-ibadah, that you worship Allah, but you worship Him in the proper manner. That means two things. Number one, you make the deed only for the pleasure of Allah. So now you correct your intention. You enhance your intention. You purify your heart from any other one than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And this is from the ihsan. And the second thing, that you will perform it according the way of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. That you perform it according the way of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. وَحُسْنِ عِبَادَتِكَ. Alright, I didn't attempt to talk to you about this morning, but since we are limited with half an hour and 20 minutes already gone between the reading and between me focusing and quizzing you, now let me tell you about one thing. You understand, was part of what I was planning to talk to you today. I brought the 3 books and the note, but it seems that I could not even have the time to go through this. So let's get at least one thing here. Subhanallah wa bihamdihi. What about we say the dhikr a few times so we can see, we make sure that we learn the gift of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Allahumma a'inni ala dhikrika wa shukrika wa husni ibadatika. Allahumma a'inni ala dhikrika وشكرك وحسن عبادتك. اللهم أعني على ذكرك وشكرك وحسن عبادتك. Okay, now we're going to go to book of Minhaj al-Qasidin. Alright, and towards okay, under the book of knowledge, Brother Habib, okay, we have a chapter say باب في آداب المعلم والمتعلم, chapter concerning mannerism, behavior, discipline of the seeker of knowledge and the teacher. And I want to see if he translate or not.
The book?
Did you find the book of knowledge?
Book of knowledge, yeah.
Okay. Now, the book of knowledge itself, it has different categories. So go towards the end of the chapter.
Okay.
Okay. The last page. He has number 1, number 2, say. And from the qualities of the scholars of the hereafter, that they know that life is so evil and disgrace, and the hereafter is more honorable, and both of them like co-wives. So that means they're always fighting. Therefore, that they will prefer the hereafter over the dunya, and that their deeds not to be the opposite of what they say and what they teach, and they have to be inclining towards useful knowledge which leads the people to the hereafter. And in the end they say, has been reported from Shaqiq, may Allah send mercy in him, that Hatim asked him, you had accompanied me for a long time, what did you learn? He said, I didn't learn too much except except 8 things. Number 1, 2, 3, like this. Do you have the book of knowledge?
Yes, you know.
Where is the end of it?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's talking about seeking knowledge of the duty, categories of the scholars, praiseworthy knowledge, ethics of the teacher and the student, useless knowledge.
Okay.
These are the headings.
What is the last thing? Useless?
Yeah, useless knowledge.
Okay. Towards the end of it, do you see anything to say that it's been reported from Shaqiq al-Balkhi, may Allah send mercy in his soul?
No.
He said to Hatim.
No, there's only 3 sentences in useless knowledge. That's all.
And after this, it starts with what?
Ethics of the teacher and the student.
Okay, and after this?
After that is category of the scholars.
Okay, after this?
Is ayah from Quran under the same topic. And that's it, the end of that chapter.
Okay, what does it start after this? Goes with the tahara, purification for salah? Okay, I do my best and see if I can translate it. Alright.
Yeah, the virtues of salah.
Shaqiq al-Balkhi, may Allah have mercy in his soul. Pay attention, brothers. He said to Hatim, you had accompanied me for a long time. So what did you learn from me? He said, I didn't learn too much. Only 8 things I had learned. Okay? After long years with a teacher, now the teacher wants to check his student. He said, I learned 8 things. I examined the creation and the people. I found that everybody have a beloved thing or a beloved one. But when a person reaches to the grave, every beloved thing and beloved one depart from them. As a result of this, I focus and decide to make my beloved one to be my good deed, so it will go with me in the grave. He say, doesn't matter who's the closer one, the dearest person to you in this life, when it comes time for the grave, to enter the grave, your beloved one, husband, wife, child, a car, Mercedes, whatever, it doesn't go with you. So when I found the reality that the dearest person or the dearest thing to me, it depart from me before I enter the grave, I say later for everything, I'm going to make my beloved thing or beloved one is a good deed. So I focus in it because this is the thing that will enter with me to the grave. The second thing, I examine the statement of Allah, وَنَهَى النَّفْسَ عَنِ الْهَوَى in Surah النازعات. So فاشتهت في دفع الهوى حتى استقرت على طاعة الله. Allah is saying, He say, I examine this statement of Allah. As for the one who deprived his soul from the lust, okay? So I decide to be one of those people. So I struggle against my soul, okay? Until my soul became in contentment with the obedience of Allah. So there is a struggle between you and the material thing and the dunya and everything. So Allah said, as for the one who deprived or struggle with his soul and keep it away from the haram and the lust of this dunya, so his reward or his dwelling place, okay, فَإِنَّ الْجَنَّةَ هِيَ الْمَأْوَى. So I kept fighting and struggle against my own desires and my own soul. So now I found that my soul finally had relaxed and have contentment in the obedience of Allah. The third thing I learned, every person has something which has a value He will protect it and preserve it very good. So I examine the statement of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, مَا عِنْدَكُمْ يَنْفَدْ وَمَا عِنْدَ اللَّهِ بَاقٍ. But Allah is saying in Quran, whatever that you have, it will be perished. But whatever was Allah, it will remain. So anytime I get something which has a value, I will spend it in the cause of Allah, so Allah will save it for me. Okay? So I made my bank with Allah. Okay? People get things with value. Okay? They try to protect it and they try to keep this thing, you understand, not to be waste. Okay? So, but Allah is saying, whatever that you have is going to be perished, that you're going to die and leave it, or is going to be going away from you. So as a result of this, instead of saving it with me, now I start to save with Allah. So by spending things with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. As for the fourth thing, I found the people, okay. As for the fourth thing, that I found the people, they status review due to money or rank or degree or tribe or whatever. But this is mean nothing. When I found Allah is saying, indeed the most honorable among you are those who have the taqwa. So I get to know and realize that the taqwa is the most important thing to make me honorable in the sight of Allah, so I spend my time with it. So like I said later, for this, things that people understand, everybody view each other because what they have, money, status, money, degree, things like this. And I get to learn from the statement of Allah, indeed the most honorable you in the sight of Allah, those who have more taqwa. So I invest my time in the taqwa of Allah, so I can be among the best. Number 6, what I learned. Number 5, what I learned. People envy each other. And after this, I focus in the verse that Allah said, نَحْنُ قَسَمْنَا بَيْنَهُمْ مَعِيشَتَهُم. We had divided their livelihood among them. Okay? So I left the envy alone. Because why I'm going to envy something, and Allah is the one who cut in the share of everybody. So I don't have to envy anybody for any reason. Number 6, I see the people enemy of one another. And I see Allah saying in the Quran, indeed the shaitan is the worst enemy of you, so take him as an enemy. So I left the animosity against people, and I focus about animosity against the shaitan. As for number 7, I see people humiliating themselves for making money. But I see that Allah saying in Quran, there is no any creature that Allah create except its provision is upon Allah. So I occupy myself with the ibadah of Allah, and I left Allah to be in charge of my risk and my provision. As for the last and the 8th thing, I see the people putting their trust in their degree, in their business. Okay? So I put my trust in Allah, and I left trusting in other things. So this is a way how people that we need to reflect and see things in the proper way, that what is with Allah is what's going to help you. It's not this material thing, it's not these things. So we shouldn't put in our own, our main time with this dunya, running right and left, and after this we have little only for our deen. We have to make the greatest investment with Allah, trusting in Allah, learning the deen of Allah, and if we take this course, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will make everything else easier on us, inshallah. We'll continue later on. Here one thing maybe that here this in this translation we may find let's see if you can make up this Habib. Maybe this what we right, inshallah we can try to find it later on in other, because we are beyond time. Thank you for listening. Jazakumullah khairan. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك نشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت نستغفرك ونتوب إليك. And Allah knows best.